So this here is a sort of little exploration of my experiences working with Oculus Rift as part of a game jam.
Press the button.
Okay, fuck you. So basically, I took part in MolyJam 2013, organised it, etc, etc. And if you don't know what MolyJam is, it's a sort of kind of a game jam which kind of pokes fun at Peter Molyneux's mad quotes. Last year was all about the parody account, the Twitter account that came out with all these mad ideas. This one was all about real quotes 22. So there was a team of four of us, who made this game. Jock, who brought the Rift and seems now to be the Rift specialist in doing game jams. Me, doing stuff. Carla, who's our 3D modeler, and we picked up Alex, who did a little bit of the audio side of things. So what we did is, Jock brought this Oculus Rift. If you don't know what Oculus Rift is, it's a sort of low-cost VR headset. It's lovely, light. It doesn't give you neck ache after like half an hour of usage. So it's a lot better than what we've had. And what we did is we took Unity in Oculus Rift and made a game. And just to let you know, if you are going to experiment with Oculus Rift, use Unity. If you ever have played around with Unity, it's got a first-person walker, you drop it in, and you've got this nice FPS kind of controller kind of wandering around. Unity has, or the Oculus Rift SDK has, a Oculus Rift version of that. So as soon as you drop that in, you've got Oculus Rift support. So what we found, we'll to experiment with a few things, is lowering the perspective and making the world huge. So you were dog level here, you were like here. So you wandered around this big massive world, and see as soon as you put that on, you went bonkers. So we made a lovely game, it was working, but it was shit. And then you had a molly bomb. Dave came along and went, you know what, your game's all about embarrassment, so why don't you embarrass the user? And we went, fuck, that's genius. Get rid of our bug list, which was about that high, and just start thinking about embarrassing the player. So what we did is we started using the Oculus Rift. So to make yourself run faster, you had to nod your head. So that already starts off embarrassment because you have to kind of go, nod my head to run faster. So everybody watching you was laughing at you, and then that added embarrassment on. Tilt your head to take a piss. So part of the game you had to go about embarrassing this virtual NPC who was your owner. So we went, how could we put the Rift in that and kind of make it feel like the pain? We could do like motion controls. No, we'll just use a tilt sensor in the headset, and if it gets to a certain bit, then that's your pain. And then finally we thought, well, you know what, we could do some other things. Let's look at some stuff outside of Rift. So we picked up microphone input, and we basically made you bark at the screen to do the bark in the game. So the thing about it is, we cheated. So what we did is, instead of going, you know, what's the difference between a growl and a bark? We just went, oh, if it's over a certain volume, that's a bark. Hey. But what happened is we tested it in a noisy environment later on, and it was just constantly barking. Because it was like, volume above 60, that's a bark. So reactions to this was pretty funny. Basically, it seemed like people were immersed, barking at the screen, doing all the things. It was quite interesting, and people got into it. But what was even more interesting is the reactions of other people while people were playing this. So people were killing themselves laughing. The other thing that happened is we did the video, which Pete stars in, and it got picked up by Forbes, which was weird and interesting. I made a video of it and put it on YouTube, and then somebody wrote about it and linked to it. And we effectively won MolyJam, they said, which was nice because there's no winners in MolyJam. So a couple of problems with Oculus Rift, and this is generic stuff. Motion sickness. A lot of people, when they were playing it, felt motion sick. I know after extended periods of time, I just felt unwell in general. I didn't feel good. And a lot of people experienced this. A couple of ways around about it is really think about your tweaking your movement and turn speed and stuff like that. Try to make it very deliberate. I would do a lot of testing. If it wasn't a game jam, I would like do this forever, effectively, with tons of users to make sure I'm doing it. So you need to really think about tweaking that. But you lose a little bit of control because if you're using Unity, you have to go with their sort of pre-made stuff. we were using the SDK version, the developer version, which is a bit low resolution. So it was 640 by 480, and when you used one of those nice, lovely Tuscan demos, it looked ugly as sin because you've seen jaggies up the wazoo. It was all these nice high poly models, but then at low resolution. So what you should do if you're targeting that platform is keep your art simple. So what we decided is it would be low poly, it would be using a toon shader, very cartoony, so jaggies wouldn't matter as much. We just kind of put it as an art problem. The other thing we found was controls were a problem. The sort of sensor on the headset, the sort of accelerometer, could only track to a certain extent, so you couldn't use that to turn all the way around. So we use mouse and keyboard. Don't fucking use mouse and keyboard. Because people have to kind of go, oh, there's my... So we use WASD and a mouse. So motion controls could be answer, Leap Motion Connect. I believe for the Dragon game, did they use Connect? Yes. So the Dragon game, they used Connect, they sort of fixed it. Me and Jock talked about using that, and I think Dave mentioned, you know, you could do like really nice things with motion controls. That could be an answer, Joypad. This is the other thing I want to just say as well. I love game jams. I did about 10 of them this year. If it wasn't for a game jam, I wouldn't get a chance to mess about with Oculus Rift. Well, unless the uni buy me one, which I'm going to because I'm going to ask for one. And also experimentation. I would have never, ever wanted to make a game about being a dog. So it allows you to experiment and play around with technology, play around with ideas, get outside your box. So if you're a dev, you can go, fuck that project, it's doing my head in, I've been working on it 6 months, let's do something cool at the game jam. So I think I'm speaking to the most that converted in here, because everybody does them in here, more or less. So, is that me? Hey, if you want to speak to me, that's my email address. That's my uni one, so don't send too much abuse through on that one. And Twitter, just send me abuse through that. I just ignore it. Thank you. Any questions?
Is the developer, should I hold up for the HD version, or should I get the...
Get the HD version.
The HD version will be out for 2 or 3 years.
Yes, so wait 2 or 3 years. No, to be honest with you, I would get it now. Yeah, get it now. It's a lovely experience. It's even just mess around with it.
I see my idea that one.
Well, your target audience is going to be really small, laser focused.
Installation games.
Yeah, installation games, like working on projects for other folk, immersive experiences. I don't think you can make like a commercial project that you can sell.
Well, it's why not use that, but you can use just the Connect to.
But yeah, so like to me, sort of if you've got some work for an art gallery or something who's doing installation, go for it. It's about $300, so it's not like a big, massive amount of money. And if you know Unity, man, you could have something up and running very quickly to blow the minds of the simpletons who give out money. And you can go, look what I did, it took me 6 months, so to finish it off, it'll take me another 18 months, so you need to give me 60k, you know, that sort of thing. But it's a nice experience, I would say go for it. I'm going to get a couple, so if you speak to me nicely, because I know you, I can give you a loaner eventually. I just need to speak to my head of department and he'll give me money, I hope. Any others? Any others? Dave?
Yeah, on that list or not?
Yeah, I will be taking requests. I am very easy to bribe. You usually just need to buy me a pint of cider and I'm yours. Head of department is a bit different, but yeah, if you let me know, 2 pints, because you give me one and give him one. No, but honestly, when I do get some, if you do take part in game jams at GCU, man, they're going to be there as a resource. You know, we'll use them. And if you have got a solid project idea, and you want to just come to me and say, look, let's work this together, see if we can get some cash in, fairly speculative, I'm happy to help as much as I can. I might not be able to do day-to-day dev work, but I can help. So, in all seriousness, if you do fancy doing stuff like this, give me a buzz. I've played around with it, so even if you want to kind of talk about it in more detail, just give me a shout. I'm happy to share, with Jock's permission, the code as well that we used. But you should really speak to Jock, because he's done like 5 of these things now. He knows ins and outs, so if you want an introduction, I can do that as well. Cool. Any other? Lindsay.
I thought you'd like to know the CEO and all the rest of the heads of the company know about Dogulus drifting the fucking.
Can you tell me, give me money?
What?
Can you tell me, give me
No,
money?
I can give you his contact details.
Yeah, give me his contact
But
details
we
on
were
the
all
day.
talking about it at GDC.
Oh,
Because
GDC.
I made them develop and they were talking about it. And then at GDC they were talking about it again.
Right, tell me, give me his contact details and I'll...
You should give me an HD version, right?
Yeah, you should give me the HD version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And five of them.
There's only 10.
Well, give me 5 of them. You know, it's,
They don't need all.
they don't need that. They can build them, more of them. But that's good to know. I think it also shows like the power of a video and a good subject. Who made it? We asked them to act. No, but it was quite funny. It was like just the actual act of doing a video for your random game jam game and just sticking it up there. I just put it up on YouTube because it was a funny thing, and it's a hard game to like. You've seen barely any screenshots. It's hard to kind of tell you how it is unless you bloody well play it. But the YouTube video kind of told a lot of stories about it. You know, it was like just watched it and instantly you got the idea. People were laughing. People were playing it and laughing, so it's very good at doing that. So even if you're a student dev, or even if you're just a regular dev, just stick up videos of stuff of your game and get traction eventually. Because we didn't target, I didn't go, let's put this up on YouTube and see what happens. It just exploded weirdly. Any other questions, guys? I'll just wrap it up and pick the next person. Right, cool. I'll go to the next person.